Temperament. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a nice introduction. First of all, I want to thank the management, staff, and all the children in SICA Association, the whole SICA group of institutes, for giving me this platform to communicate with you, to interact with you. Special thanks to Ma'am Padmini Khajanchi for giving me this opportunity. And first of all, before starting my talk, I want to bow down to all of you that you all teachers are really renowned and you make a place in the society, make a name in the society where we all think that okay, this is Sikka school, so if a student or if a child is going to the school, he or she must be getting really valued education. So you all stand apart in the city and everybody should know about it. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be here with you. And the basic aim of my presentation here is a simple one. The basic aim basically is that I want to be a connecting link between the media, the government, and the science professionals. Whatever we are hearing on the television or whatever notifications we are getting from the uh, maybe the guidelines from the government, there is a small amount of lacuna between the science people and the common man. So I just want to fill that lacuna and give you some information which can be of your help. I'll be starting my presentation. Can you all see my presentation?
Yes.
Ma'am, is my presentation visible?
No, madam.
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I can see.
Yes, it will be.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
it visible?
We can see,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. So, as the title suggests, post pandemic preparedness through scientific temperament. So, my job here is just to let you know about the small scientific details behind this kind of infection which is perpetuating in the society, and not exactly putting up figures in front of you which you all already know. I will not be talking about those things or those details or those situations which you all are already aware of or which are already there in the media or government is already advertising it. I don't want to show all the figures that how many people are infected in India, how many of them are recovered, what is the recovery rate. I'm not going to talk about that. I just want to talk something about science. So let us make a tour to microbiology, starting with small microscopic organisms. Why I'm talking about this is because coronavirus, which we want to know about, is a small microorganism which you cannot see with naked eyes. If you can see my slide, on the top right corner, you'll be able to see a picture of human hair. Can you all see, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Huh.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes, ma'am.
just imagine that this is a
Yes, ma'am.
piece of the hair which is 200 times magnified. And just beneath that piece of hair, you can see something green and red, which is very tiny, very tiny.
Yes, yes,
Now,
ma'am.
yes, now if we increase the size to 2000x, that means you've magnified it to 2000. The red color discs, which you can see, are the red blood cells. The purple colored sphere, which you can see, is a lymphocyte, or I can call it, it's a white blood cell. And we all are aware of white blood cells, which are present in blood, which safeguard us from the infectious organisms. And the green colored big size is a pollen grain. In the same picture, you can see a yeast cell, which is already marked. Now, in between these four types of cells, you can see very small, very tiny green colored structures and yellow colored structures. And in the third picture, where it is 20,000 times magnified, you'll be able to see E. coli, that is Escherichia coli, a microorganism which I think everybody knows. It's a small microorganism, a gram-negative bacteria, which is present inside our body also. And the yellow ones, the staphylococcus, they are also a kind of bacteria. And then you can see again very tiny Ebola virus and rhinovirus, just like small dots. So this is the comparison of size. The size of microorganisms, which is very, very small, we cannot see with naked eyes. Moving ahead, we'll be just talking about a little bit more about microorganisms, then we'll come exactly to the point. So on the left side, you can see bacteria. On the left side, you can see two pictures, the blue picture of a bacterium, and again, one more picture where you can see purple colored spheres. They are also bacteria. They are staphylococcus. And on the right hand side, you can see virus pictures where you can see in the blue, it is a bacteriophage, a virus which infects bacteria. And on the right hand side corner, you can see viruses which look like coronavirus also. So these tiny microorganisms. And then we come to fungus. You can see the structure of penicillium. The second picture here, the purple and brownish, this second picture here in the fungus category, this is penicillium. So these two are fungus, which are again present all over. Then the protozoans. I've put the names of common organisms which you'll be able to pick up soon. Plasmodium, which causes malaria, amoeba, which causes diarrhea, dysentery. And these organisms are again very tiny ones. So entering into the microbial world, now we come to our target organism, the coronavirus. And you all have seen this structure hundreds of times on televisions and news and lots of different places. So this concentrating on this labeled diagram of the coronavirus, the inner part where you are looking at the spring kind of a structure, that is the RNA of the virus, the genetic material of the virus. And the outer side where you can see pink colored alpin like structures, they are the proteins, the surface proteins of the virus. And the shield kind of material which you can see is the envelope. Basically, what is a virus? Virus is just a small packet, a very small packet which has genetic material embedded inside that. It can be an RNA virus, it can be a DNA virus. And some viruses have an envelope around it. This virus also, corona also has an envelope around it, which is basically composed of lipids, the fats. So it is just a simple particle which has the genome inside it only and nothing else. It is a super specialized structure. So basically, viruses are non-living structures. They are not living when they are not inside a host. I know most of you may be knowing about this, but I just want to go through the simpler details so that we can talk about the advanced ones. So it's a non-living structure and you cannot see them growing outside the cell. It can grow only when it is inside a living cell. It can be a plant cell, an animal cell, or a microbial cell, or a human being cell, animal cell. So as soon as it reaches the living system, it has to enter inside that cell. As soon as it enters inside the cell, it hijacks the complete machinery of that cell. It takes over the control of the complete machinery of that cell and then starts multiplying. It does not allow the machinery of the cell to work for itself, whereas it captures everything and it rules the cell and it tells the cell that no, you have to work for me, you have to make my proteins, you have to make my structure, and as a result it starts growing. Now when it is non-living, how do we say that it is present on vegetables, it is present on tables, it is present on cloth or any other thing? So to tell you something, that the viruses, they can survive on non-living objects for a limited period of time. They'll not survive for a long period of time. They are there for a very limited period of time, maybe for a few hours or a few days. On some structures, they'll be there for some for a few days, and on some structures, on some substances, they'll be there for only a few minutes or a few hours. The structures where they can survive for longer period of time, those structures will be allowing the structure of the virus to be happy, to be stable. But the structures which are not giving any comparably happy environment to the virus, they will not allow the virus to survive. That is why you come to know that on metals it survives for this much amount of time, on plastics it survives for this much amount of time. It depends on the hardness of the virus. Different types of viruses will survive on non-living substances for different periods of time, depending on their structure, depending on their outer membrane. So, if we come to the coronavirus, it is not a completely new virus. It is a virus which has been there since ages, and we've been infected by this virus since quite a long time. Simple common cold which we come across is because of lots of different types of viruses and different types of bacteria, not alone corona. There are lots of other viruses also and lots of other bacteria also which cause common cold to us. The symptoms which you have for SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19. So human coronaviruses are present inside you, inside me, inside everyone. Most of us must have contacted coronavirus in some or the other part of your life. We must have seen it some or the other day in our life. So it belongs to the family Coronaviridae. Okay, we don't go into the details of this, but to tell you one more important thing, that this kind of virus emerged in 2003 also and in 2012 also. So why is it that this is something different? The only point is the coronavirus, which has been infecting human beings, is known as the human coronavirus. But you have the cousin brothers or cousin sisters of these coronaviruses in different animals. They infect different animals. Usually the pathogens or the disease causing organisms which infect animals or plants, they do not infect us. Very few of these organisms cross this line and infect us. The organisms which cross this line and start infecting us, this kind of infections are known as zoonotic infections, where the organisms jump from animal to humans. So this is what happened in 2003 and 2012, and once again in 2019. When the organism is infecting any individual, any host, it grows inside that host and adapts to some changes inside that host. So when it changes itself, its pathogenic properties, its attacking properties may also change. And among those changes, it can definitely pick up a change which makes it available to the human cells also. Similarly, the novel SARS coronavirus, what is the difference? There is only one small difference, and that is the surface structure, which we just saw that structure. I'll go back to maybe that diagram. This pink colored all-pin structures, these are the S proteins. It has changed a bit of this structure. And because of change in this structure, it is more and more, it has become more and more infectious, and it has become more virulent. It has a higher property of attaching to our cell surfaces and entering inside our cell structure. Because until and unless it enters inside our cell, it will not grow, it will not cause any disease. So what is novel about it is only the change in this small structure. That is it. Rest of the virus is same. There may be some other small changes more, but they are very small. And only because of such small changes, we call it as a novel coronavirus. And all of you know what are the symptoms: fever, dry cough, tiredness, sore throat. We categorize these symptoms into three different categories: most common ones, the serious ones, and the less common ones. You all already know about it, so I'm not going to into the details of the symptoms. Just one thing, that the variation in symptoms is because of the individual's immunity and individual's comorbidity. What exactly is the comorbidity? Suppose I'm suffering from high blood pressure or I'm suffering from diabetes. That is a comorbidity. If I come across coronavirus infection, I am already suffering from diabetes since last whatever so many years or whatever. So that is known as a comorbidity. So if I or any individual has a comorbidity, then you'll have less common symptoms or serious symptoms. And if the person is healthy and does not have any strong, severe comorbidities, you'll just have the most common symptoms. And 90% of you will recover without taking any strong medication. So, next, we have lots of other viral infections also present in this society, and that is polio, hepatitis, AIDS. Can you see my slide? All of you, can you see my slide?
No. No.
Hello?
No, I can't see your slide.
No, Pal sir. Please take care. Slide is not. Now it is visible.
Right now, which slide is visible? Is it viral infections in humans?
Viral infections in humans, yeah.
Right. So, whenever I was changing the slide, was it not visible?
No, they were visible, ma'am. We were able
okay.
to view.
Okay. So I'll continue. So
Yeah.
hepatitis, AIDS, influenza, rabies, chickenpox, smallpox, all these are viral infections. Two things I want to tell you about this is that we do have vaccines for them. We do not have vaccines for others. Like, for example, polio, we do have vaccines, smallpox, chickenpox. We do have vaccines for lots of viral infections, but at the same time, influenza, we are not having any vaccine for this. But people again get infected by influenza again and again, again and again. And why this happens? Because the virus changes its integrity, it changes its structure, as a result of which, whatever immunity you have, it is not working on the next level of infection. If you talk about rabies, we do have vaccine for this. I think this was one of the first vaccines developed, very old. The Louis Pasteur was working on vaccines, and this was the in the early days, the earlier one of the first vaccines developed by scientists. But till date, there are people getting infected with rabies, and one of my close contacts, one of very close persons, lost lost his life because of rabies. The vaccine is there, the testing kits are there. Still, there are there are patients who don't recover out of these diseases. Then, if you talk about SARS-CoV-2 infection, the symptoms do not develop on the same day. The symptoms develop. Can you all hear me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes,
is the
ma'am.
screen also visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we are able to hear you.
Okay. So one important thing which I wanted to tell you here is that as soon as we come in contact with some person who's infected with coronavirus, you will not develop symptoms on the same day itself. But it takes some time. What is that period known as? That is incubation period. So when you are not having any symptoms and when you move around in the society, you may be shedding that virus to people around you. You will not come to know that you are infected, because that period of time the virus has entered inside your body. It is growing, it is adapting to your body and multiplying and increasing its number. when you come across these symptoms, actually till that time the organism has already completed its mechanism of pathogenesis. It has already caused harm to your body. It has already done destruction to your body. The symptoms develop only when you are done with it. Now it's, upstream processing is already being done. You have to work on the downstream processing, because till that time it has spread to different parts of your body. One more important thing, the infective dose. You should not think that if I have come across a person who was coughing or sneezing and I have moved by that person, so I'll just get infected. Aisa nahi hai. Why? This is because that the number of organisms entering inside your body should cross the infective dose. If it is more than a specific number, then only it will infect you. Why this concept? That if the number of organisms which is entering inside your body is lesser than the infective dose, your immune system will crush it and will not allow those organisms to cause disease inside you. The first line of force defense, the second line of force defense, and the third line of force defense, which is working inside your body, your immunity power, it destroys all the organisms which come inside your body. So if you are not getting the symptoms, if you are not getting if you are not reaching to the diseased situation after the infection, that means your immune system has won over. Then whatever organism entering inside your body may be a different, maybe of different type. Like there are lots of strains of this virus moving in the community. Different people are infected by different strains of viruses. Some of you may get a stronger strain, which we call it as a virulent strain. Some of you may be contacting a less virulent strain or a milder strain. And what happens because of this? What is the difference because of this? If you are contacting a strain which is a mild one, which is not highly virulent, which is not very strong, you may go through a subclinical infection or asymptomatic infection. You must be hearing these terms in the news or in the media. What actually is subclinical infections? Suppose an organism enters inside your body, it completes its mechanism of pathogenesis. Here, what is the meaning of mechanism of pathogenesis? It is the journey of the pathogenic organism inside your body, that when it enters inside your body, till it moves around the body, it finds its suitable room where I should settle down and grow and multiply. It wants to grow inside the lungs or the liver or the stomach or skin, wherever it just moves around your body and then establishes itself. And once it establishes itself, it starts destructing your body, and then the symptoms appear. So from the entry till this onset of symptoms, that is the period where, which is also known as incubation period, and that is the mechanism of pathogenesis. So if the number of organism is very less, or if the organism is less virulent, then what will happen? Your own immune system will kill it, will destroy it, and you will have that infection. The organism is present inside your body, so it is, the infection is there, but the symptoms are not being exhibited. So therefore you are not going to the clinic and asking the doctor that I'm coming across some problem and please treat me. So we call them as subclinical infections. This is a very good sign where you are not coming across any problem, but the organism is there inside your body, and a result will be that you'll be developing immunity against it. Your body's army will be ready to fight against it. That if a virulent organism, or if the stronger version of this virus, if that tries to enter inside your body later on, you'll be protected by it because you're already immune towards it. And the asymptomatic also, I think I've cleared here, that you don't show any symptoms because of certain reasons. Then another point which I want to share here is that immunity towards human coronavirus also helps here. What does that mean? Basically, like I've told you earlier also, that lots of other human coronaviruses are existing in the society, and they keep on entering inside our body and may or may not cause clinical or subclinical infections. But most of us have encountered them. Now, once our body looks at this virus. Now you can, I think you are seeing this picture on the screen. This is again a coronavirus, but the explanation is that the novel one has slightly different structure. But when the immune system looks at it, that yes, this is the kind of virus, it builds immunity against this structure, which can be used for the novel coronavirus also. Not completely, but partially. What exactly I mean to tell here is that if you have contacted human coronaviruses, you must be having some amount of immunity against those human coronaviruses. So when this novel SARS-CoV-2, which causes COVID-19, it enters inside your body, your previous immunity towards human coronavirus will work here also. So I'm just jotting out those points which will help you being comfortable and safe, that you are not very much what do you say, at risk against this infection. Then one more point here I want to discuss is the children's as carrier. We are not sending our kids to the schools or colleges because we are afraid that they'll be infected by the virus and what will happen to them. That's good that you have to care about them till the age of 10 years. They are not very much aware of the hygienic maintenance. That's right. But God helps those, the small kids, the small cute little babies in your house or in my house. How is God helping? God is giving natural killer cells to all of us. All of us have natural killer cells as immune system cells in our body, and they are very important for fighting against coronavirus. And to tell you that children have a larger population and stronger population of natural killer cells inside them. That is why you will find very less number of children getting infected with coronavirus. That's a plus point for you and me. Next, I want to tell you something about the evolution of the virus, which is taking place inside your body or inside my body, and how is it helping us to becoming immune towards it. When the virus when the virus enters inside the cells, it grows inside the cells. So it will take some time. It will hijack the whole system. It will start multiplying, and at the end of the cycle, which is known as the lytic cycle, the cell will burst, and you will get around 200 progeny virus particles. So these virus particles which come out of one cell, they will infect the surrounding cells. When this is happening, when the first cell is infected, our cell sends a message to the neighboring cells that there is a virus and we have to kill it. So by the time progeny virus particles comes out, the neighboring cells build up an army of proteins known as interferons. They come and attack the viral replication. That is one point. Next, when the virus is growing inside the cell, it has to multiply, it has to replicate its genome. That means whatever genetic material it has inside its body, the virus particle, it has to duplicate. So when it duplicates, it tends to make mistakes. The sequence of DNA or RNA, it might change when it is duplicating. And this happens very commonly in all the living system. When your cells are dividing, my cells are dividing, or plant cells are dividing, when they divide, they definitely make some mistakes and make some changes in the genome, which may lead to mutations, which may lead to basically variations. In the similar manner, when this virus enters inside your body or inside my body, when it changes, it may move towards a less virulent form, or it may move towards a more virulent form. Now, which direction will it like? A more virulent form or a less virulent form? Now, if the organism becomes more virulent, if this coronavirus, which is entering inside my body and multiplying, if it becomes more virulent, what is going to happen? It will increase the severity of infection inside me. It will destroy the cells inside me, and finally it will lead to the death of the patient. Now, what is going to happen? The copies of the virus particles which have become virulent, they will kill the patient. And now, after the death of the patient, you are not supposed to touch the body. All the virus particles are destroyed with that patient. So all the virulent particles are gone with that patient. But if the organism is changing towards a less virulent form, what will happen? You will recover from that disease. You might pass on that disease to some of the neighboring people, some of the people whom you are coming in contact with. But you have reduced the disease causing capacity of that organism, and the organism which you are passing it on to your neighbors or your friends, that is a less virulent form, and the virus will like it. Why will it like? Because it wants to perpetuate in the society, it wants to survive in the society, it wants to adapt to the host so that it lives. It just wants to live and grow. So the organism which is transferred from one to another person, it is not 100% sure that it is going to become less virulent, but there are high chances that the virulence power is reduced, and where the virulence power is increased, it will lead to the death of the patient. So virus evolution also favors human beings, that will be not much at risk. The population will not be at much risk. Now, coming to vaccines. You are hearing that lots of companies are working into vaccines. They want to put up vaccines in the market. And what actually these vaccines do? There are lots of different methodologies or strategies to develop a vaccine. Basically, to talk about this in short, is that the weakened microorganisms, when suppose we talk about Salmonella typhi, which causes typhoid. It enters inside your body, it invades your tissue cells, it destroys your tissue cells, and then causes disease. Okay, but if we snatch away the weapons from this organism, there are lots of weapons with all these microorganisms, and they use these weapons to invade our body and cause disease inside our body. So while making a vaccine, we snatch away all the weapons from these organisms, and they are now helpless. They are the microorganisms, but weakened microorganisms which cannot cause disease. So when these structures enter inside your body as vaccines, your immune system will be able to see the structure of that organism, will be able to see the different parts of that organism, and then after recognizing it, the immune system prepares itself to fight against it, like it produces antibodies, or it activates the T cells inside the host, which can kill the pathogen. So you have fooled the immune system. You have just placed a weakened microorganism, and because of this, the immune system got scared and it started preparing for the fight. But actually, you are not infected. So now you are ready, that if next time if the organism comes inside your body, you are prepared with the army and you'll be able to destroy that strong pathogen. The same thing happens when we contact a disease. We all have heard that if we contact chickenpox when we are small, most of the children when they are small, they contact chickenpox. And if they contact chickenpox, or if they are infected with chickenpox once, they'll not get infected by it in the life or for the whole life. You must have heard about this. So why do we say that? It is exactly working like a vaccine. The organism which entered inside your body, it definitely caused disease, it created problems, but your immune system has looked at it once, it has recognized different parts and portions of the pathogenic organism, it has weapons to chop down all the weapons of the microorganisms. It has antibodies to destroy the pathogen. It has T cells to destroy the pathogens. So this is the way vaccines are also giving you immunity. But one more thing. Again, I'll bring you to one point, that this discussion or interaction, my interaction basically aims at making you aware that we are already with lots of organisms in and around us, and they are not harming us, and if they are there, we are getting immune towards it. Look at this now. Children are vaccinated between the age of 0 to 5 years of age. All of us do that. But does this prevent them for the whole life? What is happening? Whatever vaccines you are giving to the children, that provides immunity to the child for certain limited period of time, not for the whole life, only for a certain limited period of time. Then what happens? As the child grows, he or she contacts different viruses, different bacteria, different fungus, different structures around him in the environment, on the table, on the floor, on the books, in the food, in the water, in air, wherever he or she is moving. So when they come in contact with these organisms, again and again, they are being incubated inside the body. When these organisms enter inside the body, they work as a booster dose for the vaccine. You've given a vaccine at the age of 1 or 2 years. That works for a limited period of time. After 5 years, 10 years, or 12 years, when this baby or when the child comes in contact with some organism in the nature, again it looks, the immune system looks at that organism and develops the antibodies or T cells against it. So the immune power is renewed again and again. So this is one fact. So vaccines which are available for, so there are vaccines are available for some disease and not for all of them. Like for example, if you have a vaccine for tuberculosis, but we still get infected because of tuberculosis. It is not that once you've been given the vaccination, the BCG vaccination, you'll never have Mycobacterium tuberculosis entering inside your body. It enters and it infects you. That means even after giving a vaccine, the person can get infected. On the contrary, you talk about influenza, common cold, malaria, you don't have a vaccine for them, but you don't hide inside the houses. Oh my God, I'll not move out. Plasmodium vivax will enter inside my body. Influenza virus will enter inside my body. No, we are not doing that. The only thing is we have to stay healthy, be hygienic. Vaccine is there or not there, it is not going to cause a big major change. You have examples here. Then this is the long list of companies which they are working on vaccines, on different vaccine candidates, and they are into their trials. Some of them are in experimental levels, some of them are in the first stage of trial, second stage of trial, or third stage of trial. Someday or the other, we'll definitely get a vaccine in the market. So we don't have to worry about that. Next point which I want you all to understand is the herd immunity. What is herd immunity? Now, in a given population, when there are lots of people who have already contacted the disease, that means they have seen the organism and now they have immunity power against the organism. Ma'am, once again, can you all see my presentation and can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we are able to hear.
Okay. So what happens in herd immunity? There are lots of people who are already
Yes, ma'am.
immune, and if you are vaccinated again, there are lots of people who are already equipped with the immune mechanisms which will kill the virus. So if you have some people in the society, only a few people in the society who are either not vaccinated or not infected, not previously infected, and now become infected, there will be no threat of spread of infection. I'll repeat once again. If you have lot of people in the society who are either vaccinated or they were infected and now recovered. So two categories, either vaccinated or recovered from the disease. When you have lot of number of these two kind of people, you will have very less number of people who have never contacted this virus and not fallen ill. Now, if in future any such people they contact coronavirus, they'll not be able to transmit in the society because every next person is vaccinated or every next person has already seen that organism and recovered from it. So that is herd immunity. In this picture you'll be able to see there are two red marked people, and there are lots of people who are in yellow color, and there are again a few people who are in green color. So what actually this means is that all the people who are in yellow color, they are either vaccinated or they have recovered from the disease. That means they have the power of immunity. But only these few green people, they are not vaccinated. And these two red people, they too are again not vaccinated, but they are sick. But they'll not be able to transmit the infection in the society because there are so many people who are already immune towards it. So that is herd immunity, and we all are waiting for that stage to come. And all those who have recovered from this coronavirus infection, we should be thankful to them that they are contributing to the herd immunity. Now talking something about the other health issues. We are just scared about coronavirus infection. Please don't be scared about it. Why? Because we have higher number of people who are dying because of heart attacks, heart arrests, or tuberculosis, or AIDS, or lots of other things. Like if you look at this graph, this shows you the top 10 reasons, global level top 10 reasons because of which people are dying. There are some respiratory tract infections also in this, but there are lots of other reasons which are far higher than coronavirus infections. One more thing, nobody must be showing this graph or this state of affairs to all of us. We are always there with that India has reached to the third position. We are the third most highly infected corona population. But look at this. We are nowhere in the first 10 countries where the cases per million is high. We are nowhere in this list, which means that Indian government or Indian rules and regulations or the pharma companies or the doctors or the policemen, all the administrative people of our country, they have really worked very hard to control the infection. It is a very big applaud to them. It is a very big praise for them that they've been able to control the infection in the country since last 3 months to not more than 6 or 7 lakhs. 6 or 7 lakhs is the affected ones, and the current active population is very less. You all know that. You all are aware of all those figures. So it is a big achievement of the entire system of our country that they have contained the number of infection, the number of infectious people in the country. We are nowhere in this top 10 list which says that so many people are being infected per million. Then talking something about the treatment, these are the different treatment methods. You all have already heard about it: hydroxychloroquine, remdesivir, favipiravir. All these are, hydroxychloroquine is just a molecule which does not allow the virus particle to enter inside your cell. It does not help the virus to take over the hijack the cell, because the kind of environment virus wants to enter inside the cell, it changes that environment. Basically it makes the environment alkaline, and as a result of this, virus is not able to grow inside and capture the cell. Remdesivir and favipiravir, these are the antiviral agents. They do not allow the virus particle to grow. They are basically the nucleotide analogs. Then prednisolone, this is a cortisone. Basically, when a person gets infected with coronavirus, the all of you know that 80% of the people are suffering from only mild infections and they recover from it. And out of the 20%, remaining 20%, 16% or 17 to 18%, they become a bit critically ill, and only 2% of the people are losing their lives. This 20%, the people who are reaching this 20% bracket, that is not because of the viral growth and virus damage. That is because of the immune system damage. When lots of viral particles accumulate inside your body start reacting to it in a very aggressive manner, and that is inflammation. So, in order to stop that inflammation, cortisons are given. And this helps the person to come out of the ventilator stage to a mild stage. So, that is why doctors are including cortisone in this. Then, leronlimab and tocilizumab. These two are the monoclonal antibodies. They are inhibiting the CCR5 receptors, or they are inhibiting the receptors on the white blood cells, which are under the process of chemotaxis, they are being pulled towards the site of infection and to cause hazard. When all these immune system cells reach the lungs, and then they try to kill the cells which are infected with virus, lot of debris, lot of tissue damage happens. And because of all this tissue damage and all the debris which is accumulating inside the lungs, the person starts feeling breathlessness, and it may lead to critical situations. So now these antibodies are stopping these problems. They don't allow the white blood cells to reach this position and do that aggressive damage. And aspirin, that is also helping in stopping the chemotaxis and lots of other things. I will not go into the too much technical details of this. Now next, very important, is the convalescent plasma therapy. What is this? This is basically the artificial passive immunity. What is this artificial passive immunity? When a baby is born in the house, we say that we should feed the baby with mother's milk for at least 6 months and we should not give anything else. Why are we doing that? Because the mother milk has lots of nutrients, correct. But besides that, whatever antibodies are present inside the mother's body, that is being transferred to the baby, and that is giving immunity to the baby. So baby's body is not producing any antibody, but mother's body, whatever antibodies are being produced in the mother's body, that is being transferred to the baby. So that is a passive immunity, and by a natural process by feeding the baby. So baby is getting that passive immunity. The baby is not doing any work or not spending any energy. So that is why we call it as passive immunity. We are mimicking this process in convalescent plasma therapy. What is happening in plasma therapy? A person who's got infected by the coronavirus, that person develops immunity against the coronavirus. How? It prepares antibodies against it. It prepares T cells. It activates the T cells inside your body to fight against the coronavirus. So if you take out the blood sample from a patient who's already recovered from COVID-19, the plasma content will be having the antibodies in it. Now, if you just remove the plasma portion from this patient who's recovered from the coronavirus infection, the plasma content will be containing the antibodies, and this is transferred to another person who's suffering from this infection. Now that person, if it gets a huge dose of antibodies, lots of coronavirus particles will be destroyed at that point of time. That is why you must be hearing that the patients who are receiving plasma, they are getting cured all of a sudden. They get recovered within 2 or 3 days. Why is this happening? Because a sudden dose of antibodies kills all those viruses, destroys all those viruses. So this method is a very good and effective method, and that should be followed everywhere in the country. And because we are doing it artificially, that is why we are calling it artificial passive immunity. You all can ask whatever questions you all have. You can put it in the drop box. I'll be very happy to answer as soon as I finish my presentation. Just a few more moments. Next, most important thing is that, ma'am, do I have 5 more minutes?
Yes, surely, ma'am. We are getting the questions from YouTube live as well.
Yes,
So,
yes.
as your presentation finishes, we'll be starting that. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, definitely. Just
Okay, ma'am.
7 more minutes. 5 minutes.
Yes, yes, sure.
Yes. So now, next thing which we must be very happy with is that we have lots of microbial cells in and around us. These two pictures which you all are seeing is the left one is the picture of our inner wall of the intestine, and the green colored structures, the small green colored structures are the bacterial cells which are present on the surface of our cells. And on the right hand side you can see the surface of the skin, and the three big rods which you are seeing, those are the hair, and around those hair and the skin surface you can see the purple balls and the orange color short rods. These two are the different types of microorganisms, the microbial cells on the surface of your skin. So what I mean to tell you with this is, we'll just go through this. So last picture you've seen that you have microorganisms on the surface of your body also, and the left picture is a picture which is showing the microbial cells on the top point of the alpin, such a thin, tiny, small alpin, and this, when it is enlarged under the electron microscope, you are able to see the orange colored small, very small, tiny creatures. These are the bacteria. And on the right hand side, you can see the dishwashing cloth. The gray colored background is the dishwashing cloth, and the purple colored structures and the light brown or yellow colored sphericals, they are the bacteria. So you have these microorganisms everywhere. You look at your hand, you look at your table, you look at your hair, you look at the glass which you are, just sipping water. Everywhere you have microorganisms. And this is not to scare you. This is just to tell you that they are our friends. Less than 1% of the microorganisms which we know are disease causing. Rest 99% of the organisms which we all know, they are neither disease causing, they are not harmful, and many of them are helpful also. Many of them are helpful. See, uh, you have around 10 raised to power 13 cells of your body. A human being is composed of somewhere around 10 raised to power 13 cells, and the microbial cells, they are 10 raised to power 14, 10 times more than the animal cells, which explains that you are not alone. You, for example, I'm not Sheetal Bhasin. I'm Sheetal Bhasin, E. coli, Bifidobacterium, this virus, that way. You add all the names of the organisms, then it will be this human being. And what is the plus point? The biggest plus point is that these organisms, which when they are present on the surface of my body or inside my body, they are not allowing the disease causing organisms to enter inside my body. They are not giving space to the disease causing organisms. And that is why I'm not getting infected by so many disease causing organisms every now and then, every day. Besides that, many of these organisms which are present inside your body, they are producing vitamins, lots of vitamins they are producing inside your body. And you must have noted one thing: whenever you come across an infection, you go to a doctor. If the doctor is prescribing antibiotics to you, he or she will definitely prescribe a multivitamin tablet. Why? Because when you are ingesting an antibiotic, you are exposing your microbial cells which are present inside your tummy to those antibiotics. Now, those antibiotics, they don't know that you are infected because of salmonella typhi. They'll not go around in your body and found who's salmonella, who's salmonella, who's salmonella, come here, I'll kill you. They will just kill all the organisms which come in their, on their path. So they're going to kill your normal flora also. Normal flora means the organisms which are part of your body, we call them as normal flora. So they will kill those organisms also. Now, those organisms were producing vitamins for you and you've destroyed them. That is why doctor had to prescribe artificially the multivitamin tablets. So one more thing, when these organisms are present inside your body, some structures of these normal flora organisms are similar to the pathogenic organisms. Some structures only, they are not causing disease. So looking to those structures, your body becomes vaccinated, your body becomes immunized against the other pathogenic organisms. More and more you play, more and more you move out in the society. People who are living in villages, they are, the farmers who are working in soil the whole day, they have much more stronger immunity than us because they are contacting different variety of microorganisms the entire day. So When you are doing your daily activities, when you are talking, when you are sneezing, you are just sitting, you're just breathing, you are emitting lots of microorganisms. And when you are emitting lots of microorganisms, you are transferring them to you, to the people who are sitting just around you. These organisms enter inside the body around you through eyes, through nose, through mouth. Again, okay, it is there, it is happening. Since ages, we are living with this. We have organisms on the surface, we are ingesting organisms because of other person's breath. It is there, it is happening. And don't worry, ye kya ho raha hai? It is helping you to get immunized to lots of different organisms. That is why we are alive. I mean, you have a lifespan of 60 years and you get infected by only 2 or 3 or maximum 5 or 6 different types of organisms in your entire lifespan. You don't get ill, you don't become ill every day because of lots of organisms. This is your fingerprint. Look at your hand. The circular picture which you can see here is a petri dish, and the white and yellow colored spots which you can see on this, they are the microbial cells which have grown to colonies. If you put your hand on this petri dish, you are transferring all the organisms which were present on your hand on this petri dish. Actually, this petri dish is containing a jelly like material which is containing food for microorganisms. So when you touch this petri dish, you are transferring the organisms from your hand onto this petri dish. Then you put this petri dish at 37 degrees centigrade inside an incubator. That is an instrument which will give favorable conditions for the bacteria to grow. And on the second day, after 24 hours, when you look at this plate, you will see this kind of a structure. You will see lots of colored spots on the plate, which means that there were so many microorganisms on your hands. So these organisms, they are present wherever on all the parts of your body. So now again, not scaring you. Why I'm saying this is that you are already amidst so many organisms, that you are already immunized against so many organisms. So don't be scared of this coronavirus also. This is just one virus among millions of organisms we've been living with. So you just have to care about yourself. Don't first thing, please don't feel offended if someone asks you to be away. Just wear a piece of mask. Now the mask, if you're using a cloth mask, it should be multi-layer, because virus or bacteria, they are very tiny. If you use a very thin layer of cloth, they can penetrate through it. Maintain hygienic distance, wash your hands, wash your body regularly as much as possible. Use your household Ayurvedic methods to be away from the infections. Please don't be scared of this. Not at all. There is no reason to be scared of this organism, because you are already dealing with millions of other viruses every day. You've been doing it since your birth. You know, when you took birth, as soon as you entered the world, as soon as you came out of the body of your mother, you were not having any organism on your body when you were inside mother's body. But within half an hour of your life, first half an hour of your life, when your grandma must have kissed you or your father must have kissed you, they started introducing you with lots of microorganisms. So only the first half an hour of your life, you were not having microorganisms, and since then till date, you are living with all those organisms. So just maintain hygienic distance, wear that cloth. I'm not saying that you don't listen to the guidelines of government. You do listen to all the guidelines of government and pay attention to all the rules and regulations administration is trying to explain. But again, don't be scared. Then avoid use of antibiotics. One small thing, ma'am, is it too much? Should I just have 2 more slides? If you say, I'll just wind off. Ma'am? Hello, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, you can please proceed.
Okay. So last point which I wanted to discuss was the antimicrobials. The antibiotics which are available in the market, most of the antibiotics which are available in the market, they are against bacteria. They are not against viruses. All the viral infections can be treated only by antivirals and not antibacterials. typhoid, tuberculosis, E. coli. These are all, the typhoid or tuberculosis is caused by bacteria. Your influenza or SARS, that is caused by virus. So please don't take antibiotics. Irrational use of antibiotics has been leading to the antimicrobial resistance, and there is no need of using lots of antiseptics in the house when you want to clean your floor, or you want to clean your tables, or you want to clean the articles in your house. Just use soap and water. Please don't use antiseptics. A drop of phenol which we use in the house for pocha, that is more than enough, more than enough. Please don't use any kind of chemicals, because this diagram will explain you what is the problem of resistance. When the organism becomes resistant to an antibiotic, you will not be able to treat it. Suppose you are infected with the organisms. On the left side of the picture, you can see lots of blue colored organisms which are sensitive, and you have just one organism which is resistant to the antibiotic. Now, if you treat it with antibiotic, all the sensitive ones are dying. This is when irrational use of antibiotics is done. The sensitive ones are dying, and only the resistant one remains. And over a period of time, if you've been using this antibiotic again and again and again without doctor's prescription, you will force the resistant organisms to grow, and then you will not be, you'll be landing up in the situation where you will not have antibiotics to treat these infections. So please don't use chemicals. Please don't use antibiotics too much. Don't use chemicals. Just be aware, have the scientific awareness, have the logical awareness, and that's it. I think too much of science. This is my laboratory where I work in my college, and this is my college, Maharaja Ranjit Singh College. And I thank you all for patient listening, and I am here to answer your